Russian submarines about US Navy ships and Norwegian frigates. US and Norwegian naval forces conducted a joint patrol in the Barents Sea. The Arctic operation comes as part of a large exercise in the Norwegian and North Seas involving the USS Gerald R nuclear aircraft carrier and carrier group. NATO forces also conducted extensive aerial searches for 3 Russian Yasen-class attack submarines which were reported to be operating in the area off the Lofoten. US Navy and Royal Norwegian Navy forces have returned to the Arctic for a joint patrol over the weekend. The 4-vessel flotilla included American Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers USS Mahan, DDG-72, and USS Bainbridge, DDG-96, as well as Norwegian Fridtjof Nansen-class frigate HMS Thor-Heyerdahl, FO314, and replenishment oiler HMS Maud, AR530. The news follows reporting earlier last week about NATO aerial forces scrambling to locate and track 3 Russian nuclear attack submarines in the area of operation of the USS Gerald R nuclear aircraft carrier group in the North and Norwegian Seas. The return of the US Navy to the Barents Sea continues a trend of increased operations in the Arctic. Prior to 2020, it had been decades since US Navy surface vessels had operated in the Barents Sea. The USS Mahan had last traveled into the Arctic in the early 1990s as part of the large-scale NATO exercise Teamwork 92. Last year also saw 2 American destroyers, dispatched from an aircraft carrier group further south, conducting operations near Russia's maritime border in the Barents. This was followed by a much-publicized aircraft carrier visit by the USS Harry S. Truman to the Oslo Fjord in November 2024. In 2023, the USS Gerald R also called at the port, further highlighting the stepped-up engagement of the US along Europe's northern flank. Credible naval forces operating in the Arctic ensure the ability to deter competitors and rapidly respond to crises in the region, said the US Fleet Forces Command in comments about the Barents Sea exercise. It is unclear if the USS Gerald R aircraft carrier will again be visiting Oslo this summer. Latest available tracking data show the vessel continuing to operate to the west off Norway's Lofoten. Partial AIS data, not usually available during military exercises, indicate USS Mahan, USS Bainbridge, HMS Thor-Heyerdahl, and HMS Maud off Norway's Nordkapp on August 29.